I'm Grant Carodine. I lived in Madison. My first house that I bought, I actually live in Madison now, but my first house that I bought was in Madison off of McDermott's, and I'm not going to butcher Miss Moore's name. So I'm just going to say Miss Moore was my council person. And we had, I'm recently divorced, but my spouse at the time, we had a Airbnb cropped up in the back of the neighborhood. And we came, myself and some of our neighbors came, spoke with Mayor Finley, very responsive. Recently, it was like a year later, Maura sent me an email and said, "Hey, those people are gone." So,
don't ask any questions, Grant.
so when I hear, Ms. Denzine say that, Councilwoman Denzine say we're listening, I've had experience with listening, and Maura followed up with me a year later. I helped with the campaign for Jocelyn Brower. Her campaign slogan was "I'm listening." And I just would like to implore you not only to listen, but to hear. I've been to 3 or 4 or 5 of these meetings. Honestly, I don't have kids now. In light of my divorce, I don't technically have nieces or nephews, but I voted for the school increase when I was in Madison. I'll vote for it again, like Miss Beebe said, and I'll vote for it again. But I'm asking that you hear what people are saying here, because there is a difference between listening and hearing. And I've not heard one person stand before the council in the 4 or 5 meetings that I've been to, other than those employed by the city, no disrespect, or those who are set to benefit from these developments, who said, "Hey, I'm looking for some new residential activity in Madison." But I've heard a lot of my fellow citizens say, "Can we at least stop and pause this for a moment?" I don't really have any information, or I'm not educated enough, I would say, to say whether I definitively support or do not support these developments. But I do have enough wherewithal to know that if there's this much concern, regardless of the amount of time that has passed that the council's actively been working on this, or that the city has, and with the number of new council people that there are, and the response again from the citizens that have spoken, I don't see any harm in pushing this. Developers will still want to come to Madison. And I think that us being thoughtful and pushing this out for a purpose, not just for appeasement, makes a lot of sense. And I appreciate your time and letting me speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Ready to go home. Speaking to, and I don't know if it's this property, the last one, covenants. Personal experience with covenants. I'm with Miss Mora here, because I'm not going to put your last name again.
It's okay.
They're very flexible, and I just got done dealing with at my last house with my ex-spouse some stuff where there was a developer who happens to be leadership on the county commission who developed this neighborhood several years ago with a draft of the covenant, and it was placed directly in the hands of the people who happened to first live there. There's a high propensity for this covenant to be very malleable and bend towards the will of the developer. Is that saying that the developer has any ill will? Absolutely not. But the facts are that it could go that way, and that and even myself owning a property and recently selling it at the Liberty Drive at condominiums, that association is a nightmare. You don't have participation, you have poor leadership, so on and so forth. The covenants kind of contort to what has to happen and what's the climate is there.
This respective one does not have age restrictions or anything on it. No, but we've already talked about that one.
I know, and I addressed that.
Okay.
Thank you. That's why I said just yes.
Okay, this one doesn't have anything on it.
That's what I opened with, though.
Okay.
Thank you. Additionally, when I commented a moment ago, I said, that I think that it's wise to wait, but don't wait just for appeasement's sake. Councilmember Shaw, who happens to be, and I'm at 310 Pension Row, I didn't open with that, my apologies, who is my council person, said earlier, we all know how we're going to vote, so let's just vote. So if this is being pushed for appeasement's sake, let's take the vote. And I would hate to be Mary Beth or anybody else who's worked on this tirelessly and see it fail. But another comment that I heard was there's a timeline for the person selling this property. And with all due respect, any amount of work that's gone into this, or the timeline of the person who's selling the property, really should bear no relevance on the decision that we make or that you make tonight or whenever the vote is cast. that is kind of moot to me, and I think should be when we're considering the long-term impact to the city. And I'll yield.
Thank you.